base. No Chipper Jones today. Kelly Johnson at second base, bats second. Yunel Escobar, shortstop, hitting third. Brian McCann catches, batting fourth. Casey Kochman, the first baseman, hits fifth. Jeff Francoeur in right field will bat sixth. Matt Diaz will be in left field at seventh. Jordan Schaefer in center field bats eighth, and the pitcher is Javier Vazquez. And they are facing 28-year-old Joe Blanton.
But Joe did last year where the Phillies did not lose a game, pitched very well in postseason. Also, as you see, they had a good spring training in 5 games with a 1-1 record, an earned run average of 2.76. He and Chano Park probably were their best pitchers in spring training this year. And then you see the report on him. His fastball, he'll top out at around 91, more in the high 80s. What separates Joe normally is good command of his pitches. He will work fast out there, throw strikes, and guys really like to play behind him because he works quickly.
Omar Infante will be the first one to face him. Infante in 96 games last year hit .293 for the Braves. Garrett Anderson and Chipper Jones were late scratches in the Braves lineup.
Jones has a sore thumb, and Anderson had a calf problem during spring training. He missed 3 weeks with it, and according to the report coming from Bobby Cox in his clubhouse, is that he tweaked that calf again, and so he will not start. There's Chipper.
First pitch of the game is over for a called strike. The plate umpires Tim Timmons, Rob Drake at first, Jeff Kellogg at second, and Mark Wagner at third.
Phillies must have reports that this guy bunts because both Howard and Phillies are up. Now Howard backed up after one pitch.
2 quick strikes to Infante. A little bit low, 1-2. Blanton coming over last trade deadline from Oakland. He was perfect for the Phils. Going 4-0 for the Phillies in 13 starts during the regular season. Pitched well in the postseason. He went. So Blanton starts it with a strikeout. Infante's out of there. That's one down here in the first. And we'll bring on Kelly Johnson.
Good slider from Joe Blanton, and that's what he has, an excellent breaking ball, a real hard slider to right-handed hitters. He also throw it on a back foot slider to the left-handed hitters. He worked on his changeup a lot. He was very good with that in spring training.
Johnson looks at a strike. Kelly homered in last night's game. 2 for 9 in the early going this season.
Well, Philly's problem in the first 2 games is obviously they're not scoring, but they're letting the Braves jump out quickly on them. Myers had 2 outs, nobody on the first inning the other night, and they hit him with a 2 spot. And of course, they got 2 in the first inning last night.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Kelly Johnson.
There's Brett.
He'll be pitching again Saturday in Colorado. It's full count down to Kelly Johnson.
It's a 2-2 change up there to Kelly Johnson that just missed.
Fouls it back and out of play. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, 1 game is in, and the Marlins have completed a sweep of the Nationals, winning by a score of 6-4. Florida 3-0 for only the second time ever in their history.
Changeup. 3-2 changeup. I think that's what that was. Man, that thing really faded. It was slow.
82-mile-an-hour changeup. Let's take a look at it.
Watch it fade. That's really a good pitch.
Really?
Really surprised, too. He'd throw a 3-2 changeup, but he throws it for a strike, and it just locked Kelly Johnson.
In a perfect spot, yeah. So 2 outs on 2 strikeouts. Here's Yunel Escobar. Beats a foul. Escobar 2 for 8 in the first 2 games. Line drive to left field. That's well hit over the head of Ibanez. Ibanez takes it off the fence and made the play close. Made Escobar really hustle to get a sliding double.
Well, you go again. 2 outs and nobody on base in the first inning, and the Braves kicking up a little bit of fuss. Ball comes off the wall, and Ibanez, his arm is average. He made a really good throw last night, but a strong part of his game is not going to be throwing. And that throw kind of died a little bit as it came in towards second.
There's Brian McCann. 1 strike to him. McCann 1 for 7 in the early going. It was a home run on opening night. High towering drive deep right field, and this ball is out of here.
Unbelievable.
More first inning runs for the Atlanta Braves. McCann's second hit of the year. Both have been 2-run home runs in the first inning.
Well, it's third straight game now. It's 2-0 in the first inning. Amazing.
Yeah.
And again today, 2 outs and nobody on base.
Brian McCann, one of the top hitting catchers in baseball.
That may have been another changeup. He had a changeup for a home run off Brett Myers in the first game of the series.
That young receiver has been on the last 3 All-Star teams in the National League. Good hitter. Casey Kochman, the batter. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kochman. Serves it into center field for a base hit. So after striking out the first 2 batters, we have double homer single, and Jeff Francoeur will bat.
Well, the Braves are really loose because they've come out swinging the bats early in the season. That really has to help their starting pitching too. Before they even take the field, all 3 starters have had a lead.
Yep. Francoeur hits a fly ball into center field. Shane Victorino waits. And that'll do it for the Braves. But again, they score first inning runs. 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Brian McCann. 3 hits, 1 man left. After 1/2, Braves 2, Phillies coming to bat. Second base hitting 3rd. Ryan Howard first base bats 4th. Jason Worth right field hitting 5th. Raul Ibanez left field bats 6th. Pedro Feliz 3rd base hitting 7th. Carlos Ruiz the catcher bats 8th. Joe Blanton pitching hitting 9th. They're facing 32-year-old Javier Vasquez.
There's Vasquez last year with the Chicago White Sox. Had a good spring for them with an earned run average of 2.66. He almost always pitches 200 innings. He'll get 200 strikeouts a lot. His walk totals are low. He's a very durable pitcher. And he's a guy the Phillies used to see so much when he was with Montreal, except for 1 year with Arizona. He's been in the American League for a while. That's a scouting report on him. Excellent curveball, still has a good changeup. And this guy's a really good athlete. He's a National League type pitcher because he fields his position, he can hold runners on, and he can swing the bat a little bit.
Jimmy Rollins, the first one to face him. 1 ball and no strikes. J-Roll pops a foul. Out of play behind the Braves dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant today is Paul Dronick of Minersville, Pennsylvania. The Phillies hit a home run this game. Paul wins $200. Introducing McCafe coffees at McDonald's, a new line of lattes, mochas, and cappuccinos. 1 ball and 1 strike. Breaking ball for a strike, 1-2. Bouncing ball to first base. Kochman takes care of that one for out number 1. And it'll bring on Shane Victorino. Vasquez, you mentioned, that gives you 200 innings almost all the time. In the last 9 years, there's only 1 season he did not pitch 200 innings. That was his 1 year with the Yankees in 2004 when he threw 198 innings. I mean, this guy will give you more than 30 starts every year.
Yeah, when he was with Montreal, he probably threw around 95 too, with that seed squirting out of a great type of changeup. He still has a changeup. He always had a pretty good curveball too, which he's evidently using a lot more. He sinks his fastball, and a very durable pitcher.
Second most innings pitched in the major leagues in the last 9 years. Only Livan Hernandez has pitched more.
We would see him so many times when he was in the National League with Montreal that, you know, some of these guys do have an idea of him because they faced him a lot back then.
He is 10-7 lifetime against the Phillies. He has not pitched well in his couple of games here. He's 0-2 at Citizens Bank Park with an ERA over 9.
Well, they got him when he was with the White Sox a couple of years ago.
Victorino fouls it out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Victorino looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 7.
You see active career leaders against the Phillies, and Vasquez with 10, Tom Glavine far out in the lead with 29.
Ground ball to shortstop. Escobar takes care of Victorino, and that's 2 down. Tom McCarthy with a report for us. T-Mac.
Hey, Harry, you and Wheels have been talking about Javier Vasquez and his trail during the course of his career. This is a guy who, along with Tony Armas, was supposed to be the mainstay of the Montreal Expos rotation a long time ago. But he's never been more than a 500 pitcher. If you look at his overall career record, it's under 500. Yes, he's been able to reach 200 innings consistently, but he just hasn't been the kind of pitcher that everybody expected he would be, aside from a couple of seasons with the Montreal Expos. And it's amazing as you look at some potential of guys. Do you remember those 2 guys, Tony Armas and Javier Vasquez? They were supposed to be 2-headed monsters for the Expos for a long time, but nagging arm injuries have bothered him from time to time. And although he's been durable and although he's been able to eat innings during the course of his career, it's potential that always gives the gauge early on in these guys' career where they haven't been able to reach that potential. Some guys do, some guys don't. And obviously, you know, Cole Hamels is one of those guys that's reaching his potential. He was the guy who was thought of to be a frontline starter every single time. Javier Vasquez was one of those guys who just never really reached that potential.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You got anybody walking around with you to help you carry that scorebook?
No, why, Wheels? You applying for that job?
I'm telling you, look at the size of that.
It is a little bigger than last year. It's not supposed to be, but it was a little bit of a miscommunication, let us just say, with the printer.
It's great information, but I couldn't help but notice that scorebook.
Yeah. The new one is going to arrive shortly, though, Wheels.
Good. It'll be.
Yeah. Would you like to use this one?
No, it's all right.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Got him with a change up, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Vasquez. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. After 1, Braves 2, Phillies nothing. Atlanta playing in left field, replacing Garrett Anderson this afternoon. 31-year-old.
He hits a lot of balls to right and right center field. Does Diaz. He was another guy who was hurt for them last year, and they really missed him.
2 balls and no strikes. Beats a foul back behind the plate, 2-1.
They could always, of course, platoon him. There you see his outfield hits last year. He just didn't play that much with Garrett Anderson. But Anderson came up with the calf problem today, and now Diaz gets a start.
Foul ball. It's a full count now to Diaz. Bland has only pitched 1 game against the Braves. That pitched just 2 innings, and then we had a long rain delay. 2 innings, he gave up 2 runs, and that's the only game he's pitched against Atlanta. This is hit deep. Victorino in front of the warning track. Takes care of Diaz, 1 down. Well, season tickets can still be purchased for the 2009 season. Many plans to choose from. Full season, prorated 12-game Sundays and 15-game partial plans. Season ticket holders get postseason ticket access, and in some ways the only way to get tickets to some of the hottest games of the year, like today's sold out games against the Red Sox and Mets, Sunday games. Get many benefits by being a season ticket holder. Call 215-463-5000. Jordan Schaefer out on 1 pitch on a high ground ball to short. That's 2 down.
See, they've seen a little bit of Schaefer now. You can tell Jimmy respects his speed, because when an infielder takes a ball to the side like that, he's going to get ready to crow hop and throw quickly, as opposed to taking it straight on, and the play takes longer. And you could see as soon as that ball was hit, Jimmy went to the side to try and take it that way so he would be able to get more on the throw. Now watch, see immediately how he turns his body, and now he just fires from that position with the crow hop. And you take the ball straight on a guy like Schaefer, who can run like him, he'll beat that play.
He'll beat it. As you mentioned, Vasquez, a good hitting pitcher. He's a lifetime .211 hitter.
Yeah, he used to help himself. He got hit in the face one time, though, bunting. You know, and that's setting back a little bit, obviously. That's one of the fears that a player has, that when they square to bunt, that, you know, a ball runs up and in on him. He broke his jaw.
He's hit one home run in his career back when he was playing with Arizona against the Dodgers in 2005. Bonner Sanchez. Bob Brown takes care of him, and that'll be the third strikeout for Joe. No runs, hits, errors, and left arm. Brian Howard starts the Phillies second after 1.5, 2-0 Braves. Off for the Phils. Had a couple of singles in last night's game. He is 2 for 8 in the early going. He has Vasquez in his book. He is 1 for 2 lifetime against Vasquez with a home run. Vasquez had an excellent spring in the World Baseball Classic. He pitched for his home Puerto Rico and went 2-0 with an 0.96 ERA in 2 starts in that World Baseball Classic. Then with the Braves at spring training, he went 2-1 with the 2.66 ERA in the Grapefruit League. He pitched very well this spring, and there's a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1.
One difference between him and Jurgens, the kid who pitched here last night, Vasquez will throw the long ball. He's a guy that's in the 20s and 30s most years as far as home runs allowed.
Wide, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now he's going to pitch in a big ballpark in Atlanta, and that will help him keep the ball in the ballpark. Pitching in Chicago with the White Sox, it flies out of that place.
Ball and 2 strikes to Howard.
Talk about his curveball being such a good pitch, but he still has a great changeup. He got Utley on one. You just see him get Howard way out in front on a changeup.
And the curveball comes in low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count to Ryan Howard.
See active leaders in home runs allowed, and there's Vasquez with an even 300.
There's a drive to deep left center field, and it is off the glove of Schaefer, and Howard will end up at second base. Schaefer is still down. So he ran into the fence at the 374-foot mark.
Still quite a bit of wind blowing from left to right with that wind out of the northwest, and that knocked that thing down. Off the bat, it's out, and during the summer, it's way out. But right now, it's a little harder to hit him out that way when you hit him that high. A fastball, and Ryan Howard launches it. You can see him calling for it. And Schaefer, the ball hit right off the heel of his glove and bounced away, backed up by Diaz. Here it is again, right off the heel, and then he slammed in the Southwest Airlines sign.
So here's Jason Worth.
Phillies had a leadoff double last night like that on a ball that wasn't caught by Anderson. They didn't score. So the Braves are out here hitting a lot of home runs in this series. The Phillies need to execute and get a run here and just start to feel a little bit better about their offense.
Yeah, the Phils have first two games just didn't hit much at all with runners in scoring position. One hit with runners in scoring position in the first two games.
And last night it seemed like every time they came up with runners in scoring position, there were 2 outs. And those are the hardest runs to get in baseball, are 2-out runs.
1 ball and 1 strike to Worth. Worth is just 1 for 9 lifetime against Ibanez. Hits it on the ground to third. That's not going to move the runner as Infante throws him out.
See, and that's just a wasted at bat. And no, that's what they're doing here early in the season. One of the reasons why they're struggling, nobody knows it more than Worth. A little surprising that it was a fastball too that he pulled. You know, a lot of times it'll be a changeup or a breaking ball that you can't hit the other way because you get out front. In that case, it was a fastball and he pulled it.
Brings on Raul Ibanez. Raul faced Vasquez in the American League. Pretty good numbers off him. He's 5 for 14, including 2 home runs off Vasquez. 1 strike. Towering drive. Watch this, baby. Way out of here. Off the facing of the second deck, and this game is tied at 2. Raul Ibanez delivers. And with that home run, Paul Dronig of Minersville, Pennsylvania, winning $200 courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Nice for Raul Ibanez. Fastball looked like it was down the middle. And, they say he'll pull a ball once in a while like that, and he's strong. Ball in the lower stands, and he hit it well.
His 3rd career home run off Vasquez, and we are tied at 2. And here's Pedro Feliz.
Well, the Phillies haven't led the game in the season, and they hadn't been tied in the game except at the start. So now they're tied in 1. It's a good first step.
Yep.
Here's Ibanez.
2 balls and a strike to Feliz. This is 3-1.
That could just loosen people up a little bit too. Start to press a little bit early in the season. Somebody pops one like that, and it's like, come on, let's go.
Feliz is aboard with a walk. And they'll bring on Carlos Ruiz.
Here's another look at the home run. We mentioned that he throws a lot of home run balls as Vasquez. And Raul got a fastball right down the middle, and you see he hit it right into the lower stands there.
Ruiz 2 for 7 in the early going. One ball and no strikes.
Vasquez fastball about 89, 90, 91 maybe. He used to be 95. 94. He really threw hard when he first came up. A lot of innings since then.
Going on the pitch was Feliz. It's fouled off.
Almost looked like they were playing hit and run there. And Charlie trying to stay out of a ground ball double play that would end the inning and have the pitcher lead off. because Ruiz hits into a lot of them. Looked like he trusted him not to swing and miss there and maybe get a first and third out of it.
Two balls and a strike. Well, you mentioned how Vasquez, crack statistician Carl, has come up with this number. Vasquez, in his career, has given up 301 home runs.
Yeah, well, we just showed that graphic there that he was up among the league leaders, or the active leaders in that. Jamie Moyer #1, and Vasquez with 300. But you know, these guys have pitched a lot.
Yeah.
They're around the plate. Moyer's 46 years old, throwing a lot of home run balls. A lot of guys in the Hall of Fame who have tremendously. Robin Roberts was one of them. Ferguson Jenkins, another one, because they were right around the plate.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Vasquez also gets a lot of strikeouts. In the last 9 years, he's second only to Randy Johnson in strikeouts in the majors. Full count. Well, they were running earlier. We'll see if they send Phillies here with 1 out. He does go. Doesn't matter. It's ball 4. So the Phillies have 2 men on base with 1 out. Back-to-back walks to Phillies and Ruiz.
Time now to take a look at our Firestone leaders. And this one involves Phillies managers and wins for them. And there you go. Gene Mauch, #1. You see some familiar names on that list. And there's Charlie with 354. And he's trying to close in on Jim Fregosi and some of these other guys. And Gene Mauch, 646.
Bunt by Blanton gets the runners over. Nice job by Blanton, who sacrifices the runners to third and second.
And by the way, opening week Phillies baseball is presented by Firestone, as Joe Blanton, a home run hitter in the World Series last year, gets the job done.
Yeah, that was quite a sight to see. Blanton hitting a home run, because lifetime he's had just 2 hits in his career in 26 at bats. But he took Edwin Jackson deep in Game 4 of the World Series.
Way out.
Now J-Roll with a chance to do some damage here. Second and third, 2 outs.
He crushes this thing. Jackson supplied some octane, and bang! Big country, as his teammates like to call him. 3 or 4 rows deep in left center field. The players still get a kick out of that every time that's shown on the board. Now here's where a 2-out hit can really get your season going. You know, they hit a home run to tie the game. Vasquez gets wild, walks a couple guys. And now if one of your big boys could get a 2-out hit here and give you the lead, it just makes everything feel good. Here's Joe talking about his bunt.
1 ball and 1 strike. Low 2-1.
Making Vasquez throw a lot of pitches. 38 pitches now here in the second inning.
Beats a foul back behind the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies at third, Ruiz at second, 2 outs. 2 runs across here in the second of a 2-2 game. Goes down swinging on a changeup. Rollins goes down, and that will be it for the Phils. The Phils do tie it on Raul Ibanez's homer. 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 left. After 2, tied at 2. Major League history to hit at least 300 career home runs and have a 300 or better career average? The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Gary Matthews has joined us here in the 3rd inning. It's a 2-2 game. Omar Infante leads it off. First ball swinging, gets a base hit to left field. So Infante is a leadoff base runner for the Braves. And the batter will be Kelly Johnson. Johnson struck out his first time up. We have the 2-2 ball game. Johnson looks at one a little bit wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Got that one over. 1-1 the count.
Well, the one thing Joe will do, though, is throw strikes. And needs to be in that right location, preferably down, getting ground balls. That's when he's at his best.
Too far down, 2 balls and a strike. But the Phillies side who have labored to score runs in this series, they had to get a lift on Ibanez's home run to tie this game.
Well, for whatever reason, whenever Joe Blanton pitches, they usually score a lot of runs.
Yeah.
At least 5.5 runs or so. That's what they did last year when Joe was on the mound.
He's high with that one. It's 3 balls and a strike to Kelly Johnson.
You don't want to be in fastball counts with this club. Usually Bobby will have that runner on the move.
Pops a foul back and out of play. It's a full count. Infante was running on the pitch. Running on the 3-1 pitch, so he'll probably run on this 3-2 pitch as well.
Blanton having some movement, fastball, running away. That's what you want. You want that ground ball if you can. Stay ahead of the hitters.
Runner goes again. It's popped up foul back behind the plate just below us. And it is still 3-2 to Kelly Johnson.
Got a fan right below us that just caught the ball, getting high fives and applause from everybody around in the booth.
Runner goes again. It doesn't matter. It's ball 4. He walked him, and the Braves had their first 2 men on base here in the 3rd. Visit the official online shop of the Phillies at Phillies.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps and T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Phillies.com shop. Escobar, he doubled and scored a run his first time up. Line drive hit to right field. Worth has it in a hurry. Throw to the plate. And holding at third base. Being held at third base was Infante. As that ball got out to Worth in a hurry. But the Braves have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Fastball outside. Line drive right over Chase's head. That's what Blanton has been doing. You can see Worth coming up with a good throw. His reputation is don't run on him. Got an accurate arm and strong arm.
And it brings up the dangerous Brian McCann with the bases loaded and nobody out. Looks at a strike. Slugged a 2-run homer his first time up.
Yeah, we've seen Brian before. This guy, one of the better hitting catchers in the game today.
And he rips a base hit to right field. 1 run will score. Everybody else moves up a base. And the Braves quickly regain the lead, 3-2. Still bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, Charlie's not going to want to go to the bullpen this early as they start to stir a little bit. Joe Blanton throwing strikes, but Brave hitters are hitting the ball hard.
Pitching coach Rich Tooby coming out to try to settle in Blanton.
Well, you want ground balls. Those are line drives. Tells you, though, that that's just too much of the plate. They're doing a good job at making Blanton get the ball up, consequently getting line drives as opposed to the ground balls.
So the Braves are taking a 3-2 lead, and they're threatening to score more here with the bases loaded. Still nobody out. Tim Timmons, the plate umpire, going out to speed up the conference. Brings on Casey Kochman. Kochman singled his first time up. One strike to Kochman.
He needs to really control his damage here. He'll take a ground ball double play, give up a run.
2 quick strikes.
And if you can strike the batter out, that's all that much better. Then get your double play. No further damage.
Fouled off the 0-2 pitch.
Good hitter with the bases loaded.
Good career numbers.
Anytime that hitter hitting 300 with the bases loaded, that'll tell you right there he's consistent.
But Blanton's able to get him. Struck him out with a good breaking ball. 4th strikeout for Joe. 1 down here in the 3rd.
Like that hard slide piece, back leg, or looked like a little bit of a change up there as that ball broke the other way. Good pitch.
Here's Jeff Francoeur. 1 ball and no strikes to Francoeur. He flied out his first time up. Two balls and no strikes.
He needs a quality pitch right here. Francoeur looking fastball. He's a dead red fastball hitter. Get him with a good slider, maybe down and away, and get a ground ball.
Beats a foul. And his changeup on 2-0.
Yeah, high in the zone.
So he didn't come in with the fastball. 2-0. 2-1 the count. To Francoeur. Line drive hit to center field. Kelly Johnson scores. Escobar being waved around. He is going to score. Going to third base is McCann. And the Braves now lead it by a score of 5-2 on the bases loaded. Single by Jeff Francoeur.
Well, that was just a hard single right up the middle. Again, we talked about that. Francoeur being a fastball hitter. That was a fastball. Watch this ball. That ball there tried to get inside. Not enough movement. Victorino coming up with the throw there. I thought maybe Howard should have maybe cut that ball and being able to throw that runner out. McCann going to third base. You can always tell if that velocity is going to be strong enough when you're in the middle of that the diamond.
Matt Diaz takes one inside for a ball. 1-0. So after the Phillies tied it, and Ibanez's 2-run homer, the Braves have quickly answered with 3 runs here in the 3rd. There's another hit. Down the left field line, going all the way to the corner. McCann waltzes home, being waved around from first is Francoeur, and he is going to score. It's a 2-run double for Matt Diaz. And the Braves now lead it by a score of 7-2.
Well, it's not like these balls have not been hit hard. They have actually been just scorched. Baez hitting that ball right down the line. You see Chipper Jones in there with his glasses on, congratulating Frank Coor. Frank Coor, one of those players, had an awful year last year.
1 strike, the count to Schaefer. Schaefer grounded to short his first time up. He's going to get Jay Happ up in the bullpen now.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a statement. Tie the ball game up so far now. They've come back to score 5 runs on it.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Two and two. Ground ball foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes to count.
Now look at Ruiz there. He's asking for that pitch on the inside. Just didn't get it in there far enough. Now that ball is up. Ruiz wanted the ball down. A little easier to handle that ball when it's up in the zone.
Count's gone full now to Schaefer.
See the disgust there on Joe Blanton's face on the mound.
Fouls it off, still 3 and 2.
When things aren't going well, you want to be the guy that stops that losing streak. So far, the Braves have their hitting shoes on.
Yep. Bouncing ball tapped to second base. Utley underhands to Howard for out number 2 on the play. Baez moves up to third base. I'll bring on the pitcher Javier Vazquez. Vazquez struck out his first time up. The Braves have batted around here in the 3rd. Reaches out and loops it right to the shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, and that will be it. But a bat around inning for Atlanta. They put 5 on the board on 5 hits, and they lead 1. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, 7-2 Braves. Bottom half of the third inning, the Braves lead the Phils by a score of 7-2. Shane Victorino leads it off for the Phillies. Sold out crowd here at Citizens Bank Park, and saw the Phillies tie in the second on Ibanez's two-run home run, but then the Braves a bat around third, putting 5 on the board.
Yeah, those balls were hit extremely hard, not like they were just finding homes.
Victorino grounded out his first time up, looking for his first hit. Charlie Manuel was worried about Victorino coming out of spring training because of his not getting too many at bats in the World Baseball Classic and then also at spring training games.
Well, he admitted that his timing is off and needs to get that back.
Lines this one into center field over the head of Schaefer. Victorino flying around second. He'll reach third with a sliding triple. So his first hit of the year is a 3-base hit.
Well, that's what they need at the beginning of the lineup to get it started. Victorino or J-Row. Well, he smoked that ball there, Harry, last year. See that 8 triples. And see that ball as it's slicing away, just eluding Schaefer out there. Again, he's had some balls that went off his glove here in the series. Victorino, he's just flying around the bases. He can get that nickname, the Flying Hawaiian, just for nothing.
So he's at third base, and here's Chase Utley, who struck out his first time up. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, Phillies have a lot of pride. The hitters have a lot of pride. And again, even if the pitchers are giving up 4 runs, 3 runs, they're capable of being able to come back and play the way that they should. There's J-Row.
And they have a lot of innings to come back in this game. We're only in the third.
It's got to see some consistent at-bats, meaning that you're thinking, especially with runners in scoring position, to get yourself a pitch that you can handle, especially up to 2 strikes.
Fouled it out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Utley. Runners in scoring position this series, the Phillies just 2 for 16.
Wow.
Smothers a foul on the first base side.
I think sometimes we end up forgetting that this is a good offensive ball club that should be able to score some runs. So 3 or 4 runs pitchers are giving up. Doesn't bother me. These guys, when they get on a roll, they'll be scoring 5, 6 runs a game.
Cued to third base. Victorino on the move. The play is going to be at first, and it gets through Kochman. Utley is going to end up at second base as Victorino scores. Give Chase a run batted in. We'll have to wait and see how they score. Probably at air on Infante.
Well, that's a tough play, though, too, going in. That's bang, bang, bang as he picks that ball. Utley making sure that he ends up putting it in play. Thought he was going to go home for a minute. Yeah, that probably should be in there. It does take a hop right there, and that's a ball normally that a first baseman will be able to handle, that long hop.
Here's Ryan Howard, and he lost a high fly ball to center field, not all that deep, and it's pulled in by Jordan Schaefer. 1 down. Sunday, April 19th, 1:35 against San Diego. A great day, a magical Fanatic birthday celebration. Free Fanatic Champions t-shirts for youngsters 14 and under. Compliments of Citizens Bank. Don't delay. That's April 19th against San Diego. Order your tickets online at Phillies.com. On Utley's ball, they scored that in air all the way. And here is Jason Worth. Takes it quite high.
Now, normally you would want, sorry, Harry, normally you want Howard to pull the ball, but he's one of those hitters on the team that you don't mind him hitting the ball where it's pitched. We've seen him hit the ball out of the ballpark in left field and left center.
Right.
Some of the other hitters, yeah, you want him to pull the ball. There's Ryan, but you don't want this kid giving himself up and just trying to pull the ball.
22 opposite field home runs last year, so
he just missed from really hitting that ball out of there. Just missed from hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Maybe coming off of it just a little bit.
2 balls and no strikes to Worth. Got that one over. 2-1. Utley at second base with 1 out, a run in. Now a 7-3 game. Braves on top here in the 3rd inning. Grounded the deep third, backhanded there, and the throw across the diamond is in time, beating the sliding Worth. So Infante gets Worth. Moving up to third base is Utley. And with 2 outs, it'll bring on Raul Ibanez, who homered his first time up.
That's what you like, those 2-out base hits. Well, this kid, before it's all said and done, they're going to like him. Here's his home run in that second inning. Free and easy. Gets those hands through quick. He drives the ball out of the ballpark, and he can hit the ball out the opposite way.
He is now 6 for 15 lifetime against Vasquez, facing him in the American League, and 3 of his 6 hits have been home runs off this right hand.
I tell you, he feels comfortable, and he sees the ball coming out of his hand.
Vasquez probably aware of that, and he might pitch around him here. 2 balls and no strikes. And the 2-0 breaking ball fooled him with it. 2 balls and a strike to Ibanez.
Well, you can see his bat head out in front, looking for the fastball. Pretty good pitch, though, by Vasquez. Being able to throw that little slide piece down and in.
Fastball wide, 3 balls and a strike.
Kind of see him being a little bit careful to Ibanez, and fastball 2-1 was way outside.
The 3rd ball, he bounced this one up there, so he walks it. That was kind of a pitch around.
Yep.
The 3rd walk surrendered by Vasquez, and will bring on Pedro Phillies. He walked his first time up. Philly runners at first and third, 2 outs. And the Phillies are going to get the bullpen up. Jay Happ is going to get up once again. Taps softly, third base, charging Infante, and he throws out Phillies, and that will be all for the Phils. Phils do get a run, 1 hit, an error, and 2 left. Tom McCarthy comes along in the 4th, 7-3 Braves.
ball game. And it brings us to our Geico quote of the day. And the quote comes from Ruben Amaro Jr., the Phillies general manager. The reality is, to a man, these guys will be very proud to have them. That's what guys play for. They play for the ring. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. And all around, not only baseball, but also football, they talk about the rings that they'll get for winning a world championship. And it seems like as guys get older in this game, the ring becomes even more important for the players. As Omar Infante leads things off for the Braves here in the top of the 4th inning. Infante singled and scored in the 3rd inning. And he smokes this one right past the third base bag toward the left field corner. He's going to have his second base hit of the afternoon. So he'll pull it to second with a leadoff double. And he began the 5-run 3rd inning for the Braves with a leadoff single. And Rich Doobie still allowing Joe Blanton to fire away out on the mound. He does have Jay Happ loosening up in the pen.
Everything they're hitting is hitting hard. This one finds its way right down the left field line. Well, Joe not able to hit his spots, obviously, because not only are they hitting the ball hard, they're finding the gaps.
Well, that'll bring Kelly Johnson to the plate with a runner in scoring position, and Johnson in the hole, no balls and 1 strike.
A lot of times when that happens, you got to move some feet. Guys are feeling a little bit too comfortable in the plate. I mean, they've been swinging the bats well all the 3 games.
Well, the thing about the Braves too, Sarge, during the series, and this may not have been the case in the 3rd inning, but it certainly has been the case here in the 4th, but also in the 1st and in the first 2 games. You know, Jeff Francoeur and the bunch have not just had singles. I mean, they've had extra base hits.
Well, I mean, they've come in here starting to swing the bats. There's Chipper Jones, almost like leading the way. Has a little bit of a bruise on his inside of his thumb.
Johnson out in front of a changeup there, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Every time we see McCann, he seems to always hit a home run or hit the ball hard.
Kelly Johnson has a run scored this afternoon for Atlanta. He lays off the off-speed pitch. It's a little low, so it's 3-2.
Well, you like your club to start off hot offensively. Just starts to take a lot of pressure off of your pitching.
On the outside corner, called strike 3. Second time this afternoon that Kelly Johnson has been rung up on strikes. And that's the 5th strikeout overall for Joe Blanton.
Good pitch right on the outside part of the plate. And the down, you can see the location. I got a little help on that particular pitch, but he had it in a good area.
So 1 away, runner in scoring position. Here's Yunel Escobar. Escobar's got a couple hits today. And Blanton starts him off with a foul ball, so it's 0-1. Well, Sarge, we have this conversation often about spring training games and how sometimes it carries over for individuals, sometimes it doesn't. Good springs. For the Braves, they had a fantastic spring offensively. And it seems like, at least for the first 3 games, that Bobby Cox has his squad carrying it over nicely.
Yeah, I've always felt it's hard to turn it on and turn it off. I mean, when you find your stroke, you want to just keep it and go as long as you possibly can. It just shows you that you're having good habits. There's half warming up. Your good habits and the consistency. And you want to be able to hit that ball hard. The last week, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays always talked about that. Being ready that last week carries you into the season.
Good movement on that pitch from Joe Blanton, and it's back-to-back strikeouts as Escobar goes down looking. And they're 2 away. Bobby Cox is going to allow the home plate umpire Tim Timmons to hear his voice from the third base dugout. Even after 28 years, Tim Timmons and all the umpires, they know certain voices around the league. And because Bobby Cox has been around so long, he's been ejected so many times, they know his voice loud and clear.
Yeah, well, holds the record.
There's Brian McCann, who has 3 RBIs, and Ruiz throws behind the base runner at second. And Infante is back.
Well, Bobby Cox really protects his hitters, and meaning that he speaks up for them. They get called out on a 3rd strike, especially Chipper. He's going to say something.
McCann lays off a breaking ball, and that's taken for strike one. It's 1-1. Last time Joe Blanton pitched at Bright House Field, we got a chance to talk with him, and he was talking about his changeup, how there was some good, some not so good. And today, his breaking ball, as you see there, has been okay. His changeup has been decent. It seems like the fastball has been the pitch that's hurting today.
Yeah, bad location, not so much the velocity and not getting the movement. You can see what happens when he keeps the ball down.
Ruiz thought about throwing behind Infante again. And Omar was back standing as Jimmy Rollins was creeping in.
Yeah, Joe doesn't have enough to pitch upstairs consistently. A lot more success when he throws the ball down and when he's getting the movement.
2-2 the count to Brian McCann. Checks a swing and a pitch in the dirt. Brian McCann, Sarge, was saying that at the end of the 2008 season, he had a good year. He hit over 300 at 23 home runs. He said that he just was so sore and banged up that he felt like he had to lose weight because he felt like the weight was causing him a problem. That it was causing the problems in his knees and his ankles. And at 25, you know, he wanted to make sure that he was catching his entire career.
Wow.
That's his objective. So he lost about 25 pounds.
Well, that'll make it easier for sure on your knees. And you know what that's all about.
Absolutely. Little number foul, and the count remains full 3-2.
First thing the doctor tells you is you got bad knees, to make sure that you don't gain a lot of weight. You have a lot of pressure on those knees, and when you're bending and catching like McCann, well, it can take its toll on you.
3-2, pulled on the ground, just foul down the first base line. And Infante, who was around third, heads back to second. This is the sixth batter that Joe Blanton has run the count full 3-2. McCann has turned into a good catcher for these Atlanta Braves. And you see the numbers there: home runs, RBIs, and doubles. McCann in 2008 was the leader among catchers, and he takes that pitch inside for a ball. So he's been on base all 3 times in this afternoon's ball game.
Yeah, Joe just didn't give in to him at all. Wasn't going to give him a ball out over the plate, and that's okay.
Well, this 3-game series has been rather impressive for the Atlanta Braves, including today. See what they've done as you take a look at the individuals from 1 through 9, including Casey Kochman, who's at the plate here, and he takes one inside. Kochman singled his last time up.
Yeah, that's the pitch that he needs to set up his other pitches. He get that fastball inside, makes the hitter conscious.
Oh, that was a pretty good pitch, though, on the inside part
too.
of the plate.
But when he doesn't get that pitch, and that means he has to go away. And you know, a lot of times hitters are looking fastball away. That's how they hit these days.
That one is off the front foot as Ruiz goes back. Does he have room up against the screen? He does catch it, but it's, oh, he did get it. I thought it hit the screen. Yep. Jeff Francoeur is saying it did. So does Casey Kochman. But the home plate umpire, Tim Timmons, says, And Carlos Ruiz and the rest of the Phils are heading off the field before a decision is made. The third base umpire, Mark Wagner, comes over. Let's look at this replay. Ruiz pops it off the screen and then catches it on the bare hand. And now they're calling the Phillies back onto the field because of that. The ball popped out of his glove, hit the screen, and then he made the grab.
Yeah, that's a proper call on that. And again, they're not going to just not make the call. Tim actually didn't see it from the back.
He's explaining it now to Charlie Manuel, and Ruiz going out to the mound to have a word with Joe Blanton.
You know, for catchers, too, they got to get back to the wall as quick as they can. You can take a look, and there's just a little bit of movement, but that's a great effort. Ruiz kind of almost bending that. That's a play where if it either sticks right there in his webbing, that catcher's glove a little bit different from most gloves. A lot more padding in that glove.
Yeah, and there's Mark Wagner, who made the call. He came over from the third base side to make the call and help out Tim Timmons. It wasn't that the ball hit the screen on the way down. It hit the screen on the way back up out of Ruiz's glove.
I wonder if Tim actually asked for help, though.
Or
whether or not. Usually the umpire has to go over and ask for help, but I guess because they were going over and talking, you could clearly see, however, that did go off the screen.
Count 3-1. The pitch hit on the ground sharply right side. Utley is there, flips the short way to second in time to retire McCann, and the inning is over. So no damage done for Joe Blanton. Just a few extra pitches. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Phillies trail at 7-3. Team travel and clubhouse services, and he is the bearer of one of the World Series rings. Pretty sharp. Now, Frank was also on the committee that helped design the ring. That's Milt Thompson's ring right there that we're showing off to the viewing audience, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And Frank, I tell you, it looks sharp on your finger, and it looked sharp when it was presented to the players. And a lot of work went into this.
Well, there's a committee of 7 people, and we've been working on it for about 4 months. And we were really thrilled today to not only receive them, but to see the reaction of the players and coaches and Charlie and everyone else.
I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of rings from the championship NBA rings, all the ones that Jordan has. This by far is the best ring I have seen athletic-wise. There might be bigger ones simply because of the big fingers that football players have, but baseball-wise, this ring here won't have to take a second seat to any of the rings, guaranteed.
I couldn't agree more. We're pretty proud of it, and we don't think we're taking second to anybody with this one.
Well, there's Ruiz lining that one out to second base for out number 1. Well, before the ball game, here's Frank, who's coming out to get his ring presented to him by David Montgomery and also Pat Gillick. Boy, Pat was choked up as he was presenting the rings, and Charlie Manuel's there as well. And this means an awful lot to a lot of folks who have been around the game for a long time.
It sure does. I mean, it's I've been in the game a long time myself. To receive this ring today is certainly a very special moment in your life.
All right, now 14-karat white gold, 103 diamonds. And it's 3 just for the ladies out there, they'll understand this better than the guys, 3.84 carats. That's an awful lot of carats right there.
It sure is. The 103 diamonds represent the 103 wins that the Phillies had last year.
Wow.
The 92 in the regular season and 11 in the postseason. In fact, of the 103 diamonds, there's 11 on the Liberty Bell on one of the sides of the ring. That's, for the postseason win total.
Now, is this ring going in the vault there, Frank, or are you going to be sporting it around for a while, or what exactly are you going to be doing with it? Because it is warming our whole body up over here. I'm
going to wear it for a while and enjoy it.
Here's Miguel Cairo, who's in the hole 0-2, pinch hitting for Joe Blanton. And Cairo is down on strikes. Brian McCann is going to try to take care of him, and he does. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Frank, when you're going through the process, as we mentioned, you were a part of the committee that went through the process to design this ring. What were some of the objectives going into the design of this ring?
Well, we definitely wanted to capture the importance of our World Championship last year and the class of the Philly organization, and to try to tell a story, and we think the ring definitely tells a great story.
Now, there are other stories that are surrounding the ring and the presentations of the ring, and we saw Pat Burrell here. Jeff Jenkins was here. Adam Eaton was here as well. All 3 are no longer part of the Phillies organization, but no doubt are in the memory bank of a lot of Phillies fans. I mean, that's part of the storyline. And then the other part is that, Pat Gillick's going to present it to some of the other players who weren't here, as he'll go around the country basically doing that the next several weeks.
Yeah, both he and David Montgomery, and I think a lot needs to be said about that. Working in the clubhouse, I see a lot of players that we've had over the years that receive their rings. They just receive them in the mail, and David and Pat are going all out to make sure they hand deliver these rings to as many of these people as they can.
That's great. We just saw Pat Burrell being presented his ring and being embraced by Pat Gillick and Charlie Emanuel. It was kind of neat to see him at the ballpark earlier today as well.
It was great, and he definitely needed to be here, and we were all glad to see him, and that was some thunderous ovation that
sure
he
was.
received.
Yeah, Pat, he's been getting pretty emotional too. First time not being in the pinstripes, so to speak, in the red stripes, and he's gone through what he calls very emotional time, just coming back and being and seeing the fans here.
2-2 pitch hit toward first, and it's caught out of the air by Kochman, and the inning is over. Well, Frank, thanks for stopping up here. Did you find your way up here okay?
I found my way. This thing puts out a lot of light.
Frank Koppenbacher, our guest, the Phil's Director of Team Travel and Clubhouse Services. Phil's trail at 7-3. Stands out there, very busy, and it has been these first 3 games during the 2009 season. Will continue to do so, or be so, during the course of the season. There's Jay Happ, who last year with the Phillies, 1 win, no losses. Was able to start a couple games, also worked out of the bullpen, and he gets Jeff Francoeur to pop out to Ryan Howard to start this 5th inning. And this is one of the roles that Jay Happ has settled into as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies this year, as sort of a long guy to try to chew up some outs and chew up some innings.
And you know what? This might make him even a better starter, because he's not going to be in awe of coming into any games. This is what the Dodgers used to do all the time to their pitchers. They'd be long relievers. Don Sutton used to do that. Singer used to do that. And this is the way they did their pitchers in order to make sure that they had the right stuff going on the mound, where they weren't afraid, or they weren't at all facing Mays and so on.
Now, how long did the Dodgers, and I know you watched it from a distance, and it may be tough to remember, but how long would they do that with, let's say, a Don Sutton?
Year or two. You know, they'd be grooming different pitchers, and I remember like it was yesterday, especially for Don Sutton.
There he is, Don doing the radio now
and
for the Atlanta
Hall
Braves.
of Fame pitcher. But they did all their pitchers that way because they were so deep in pitching.
Well, there's no doubt that in the old days in baseball, not when Don Sutton played, but even before that, back in the 40s and the 50s, there weren't the specialty players or pitchers that were in the pen. So guys who were young, proposed starting pitchers would work out of the pen, and that would be the only way they can get into the rotation.
Right. You're absolutely right about that.
Matt Diaz squibs one foul up the third base line.
Guys like Nolan Ryan, when they started them off, you were glad about that because they learned how to pitch, being just awfully wild, and they might strike out the side or they might walk 4 in a row, and you never could tell. Put J.R. Richard in that particular category. Very difficult pitchers to try and hit.
Matt Diaz, who was not in the original starting lineup for the Braves. In fact, it was surprising that he didn't start the other night against Jamie Moyer, a left-hander on the hill. Here's the 3-2 pitch to him. Little low, ball 4. It's a 1-out walk for Diaz. He's aboard for the second time in this ball game. And it means that Jordan Schaefer will bat against Jay Happ with a runner on first. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers are coming to town beginning Tuesday, April 21st for a 3-game series, 7:05, 7:05, and then at 1:05 on Thursday the 23rd. It's another Citizens Bank Business Person Special. You can order your tickets now at Phillies.com, and we saw the ring ceremony today. Well, the first night, replica ring keychains for all fans, compliments of McDonald's. Jordan Schaefer shows bunt, takes a pitch for a strike, and the count 0-1.
I think Charlie Manuel is glad about all the ceremonies being over. We talked about that so the guys can more or less get back at the task at hand.
1-1 the count, and Diaz caught between first and second. He's going to get back to first. A lot of times when guys take off like that, they're trying to read where the ball is. And Sarge, the only thing that was decisive on his part is that he went back as soon as the ball released from Ruiz's hand.
Right. That's one of those, again, kind of almost bang, bang, if you will. Ruiz blocking the ball. A lot of times you want to chase the runner when he's going to be running, and then that way you know whether or not he's going either the first or the second. You just got to go right at him with the ball in your hand.
Schaefer takes one of the dirt, 2-1. I think you bring up a very good point because Diaz was dead in his tracks between first and second, and because Ruiz made the crack decision of going right to second, it gave Diaz a few extra seconds to get his jump back to first.
One thing you like about it, though, you can tell them their heads up on the bases. They're ready to try and get over to that next base, head in the bin.
2-2 the count to Schaefer as he takes a fastball at the knees.
As a hitter, you appreciate that, especially if they're able to get to third on a ball that maybe normally you wouldn't be able to when a catcher blocks the ball.
Two hit in the air, deep to right field. Worth going back to the wall. It's gone. And Jordan Schaefer, who homered in his first major league at bat, decides to make it 2 in this series, and Bobby Cox's squad leads it now 9-3.
Oh, wow. All right, that's looked to be a breaking ball, but obviously a hanging breaking ball. Schaefer having time to adjust, and he didn't mean it. He's short to the ball on the inside. Hasn't showed he can handle outside pitches so far. If you throwing him inside, just take a look at it, boy. There's no doubt about it when he hit it.
Well, Javier Vasquez now will get a chance to bat, and because of that guy, he's got a 6-run lead here in the top of the 5th inning.
Pretty good production you got coming out of that 8th home. You don't usually get that. Boy, that's 2 bombs and a guy playing center field. Well, this is what you want. Rookies to come in and make an impact right away. And you like that because a lot of times rookies have a tendency to get down on themselves when they're not able to play and play well.
2-1 to Vasquez, fouled away. It's 2-2. Well, this is a beautiful swing right here by Jordan Schaefer.
Well, he's short to the ball. You can see that. Picks his feet up and puts it down. And, well, he looks like he likes to hit in this ballpark. It was just a matter of how far or whether or not he was going to knock that fence down.
Big hop for Jimmy Rollins with the chopper by Vasquez. He can run the ball over to first. Vasquez not really sprinted up the first base line, but there are 2 away now in the top of the 5th inning. Well, coming up this weekend in Colorado when the Phils take on the Rockies. Friday's game will be on the Comcast Network beginning at 4 p.m. Channel 201 on your cable systems. And then Saturday, Comcast Sportsnet at 8 p.m. Eastern Time start. Sunday, we round it out on MyPHL 17. It is a 3 p.m. Eastern Time start before the Phillies head to our nation's capital to take on the Washington Nationals. Omar Infante's had a good day. He's 2 for 3 with a run scored. And he's in the hole 0-1. Infante last year hit .293 for the Braves. Came over from the Detroit Tigers. Had just 3 home runs, but also drove in 40 runs as a kind of a reserve player. Part-time guy. Could play the infield and also play a little outfield as well.
Well, Bobby Cox, manager, is good about letting players know their role. And he's also the type of manager, a lot like Charlie, if you're hot, you're staying in there.
Bobby Cox for his career has 2,329 wins. 4th most in Major League Baseball history.
I understand he gets to the ballpark as early as anyone.
Chopper toward the middle, to his left and in is Rollins. Has time, throws low, dug out by Howard, and the inning is over. So a 2-run home run by Jordan Schaefer. The blemish in the inning for Jay Happ of the Phillies. We move on to the bottom of the 5th with the Braves leading at 9-3. In Attleboro, Massachusetts. They're the folks that made the rings, the Phillies championship rings, knew what they were getting into when they invited the Fanatic up to help out. We understand from Jerry Clothier from the Phillies front office that the Fanatic will also get a World Series ring. Here's Shane Victorino trying to beat out an infield hit, but he is retired on a nice play by Kochman and Vasquez. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
too many first pitch swinging and balls that aren't strikes or borderline strikes. You know, again, you got to be patient when you're not hitting the ball and get the ball that you can handle. You can see that ball there where he's almost just kind of slapping at it, if you will. Not able to get there before Vasquez almost turning his ankle on that.
I was going to say, Vasquez was doing a little Cadillac, and I don't think he meant to do it because he looked like he missed the bag initially.
He had to slow down a little bit. He actually got there almost so quick, and knowing that Victorino's a fast runner.
Here's Chase Utley. Utley has an RBI today. That RBI took place on an error by the third baseman Omar Infante. Middle of this Phillies lineup, the first few games have been struggling to get things rolling, but it's not only the middle of the lineup, it's really 1 through 9 that struggle to get things rolling. 0-2 the count now to Chase. You know, and Sarge, that's the wonderment of folks is, you know, where has the offense gone? But, you know, if you look at the numbers the last 2 years, they're going to score runs, and, you know, they're going to be among the league leaders as a team throughout Major League Baseball by the time this season's over.
Yeah, well, again, though, it's very difficult as you take a look at J-Roll to turn it on and turn it off. When it's on, you got to go. You got to make sure you go.
Now, Utley goes there and sends one to deep right field. That one is off the top of the scoreboard. And Chase is speeding to second base, and he's there standing. And Utley with his third hit of the season. He's in scoring position with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
You know, and obviously, timely hitting has a lot to do with whether or not your Cubs win or not. As you can see, Chase Utley, 41 doubles last year. Short, quick, compact, hits that ball right off of the scoreboard in right field. Right center, I should say. Well, that's when he's going good. He'll be hitting the gaps, and this ballpark is made for Chase Utley in his stroke.
Well, that brings Ryan Howard to the plate. Howard doubled his first time up, scored one of the 3 runs for the Phillies. He scored on the home run by Raul Ibanez, and he works the count in his favor, 1-0. Phillies had an off day on Monday, and here at the ballpark, Ryan Howard was under the stadium taking his hacks.
Oh no, he's a hard worker. I mean, the whole team, all the guys are very hard workers, especially when things aren't going well.
He pulls that one slowly up the first base line. It's a fair ball. It moves Utley over to third. But they're 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Milwaukee Brewers come to town. We want to remind you, April 21st through the 23rd, and Tuesday the 21st, all fans receive a free World Champions commemorative ring keychain. Compliments of McDonald's. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. See some Chickies and Pete's crab fries being made to order out there in the outfield.
You like those crab fries too, don't you?
I like them way too much is what I like them.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get you a little 2 cupfuls because you can't just eat one.
Jason Worth takes one inside, 1-0.
Well, you can kind of see why Dave Montgomery wants to be able to go and deliver these particular rings. You don't want these rings floating around in the mail at all, even if you're getting a signature sign, wouldn't you think?
I would agree with that.
I mean, it's pretty heavy. You're going to know what it is if the word gets out.
I think it was great today to see Pat Burrell, who's playing tonight against the Red Sox in a Tampa Bay Rays uniform, come back. And Pat was saying during spring training that he and David got together, and David personally invited Pat to this ring ceremony on behalf of the Phillies organization.
Class act.
Adam Eaton, who's pitching for the Orioles, also invited. In fact, So Taguchi, who is playing for the AAA Iowa Cubs, was also invited back. And So said, out of respect to my teammates with the Iowa Cubs,
unbelievable.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to leave them and come back for the ring ceremony.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
No, it really is. I mean, it just shows you, too, what type of player we had here, although he didn't have his best year, possibly. I mean, he had difficult time catching the ball, and that was probably the best thing that he did. And he wasn't able to see the balls hit.
There's ball 4 to Jason Worth. So runners on first and third now with 2 away. And Raul Ibanez already has a home run that Bobby Cox saw leave the yard back in the 2nd inning. Will bat here with 2 runners on. And Roger McDowell not only went to the phone, but he's going to go to the mound and bide some time for his bullpen. And let's face it, everybody knows in this ballpark, The way the Phillies hit at home, is Blaine Boyer is going to get up and start the throw. A long ball here or a base hit here and then maybe another by Phillies. The Phillies are right back in this game.
Puts it right back in the game, and a lot of times too when you see pitching coaches go out to the mound, usually you can tell what kind of pitcher they were, whether or not it's a first fastball on the inside part of the plate or a fastball on the outside part of the plate, and usually that's their game plan, which they'll do.
They finished the game with Michael Barkan and Ricky Battaligo's extensive game breakdown, plus Leslie Goodell's exclusive clubhouse reactions. Finish it with Sloan Toyota presents Phillies post-game live after the game only on Comcast Sportsnet. There's Ricky Bo looking sharp. Those fans might be home just in time to watch Sloan Toyota's post-game live as Ibanez takes one outside and they count 1 ball and no strikes.
He's looking for a pitch that he can drive, and he's the guy, Ibanez, that's used to driving in runs. Get that over in Seattle.
Two and 0 the count to Ibanez. See Chase Utley on third base. Jason Worth on first. Phil's mounting a little bit of a rally here, down 6-9-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-0 pitch. Change up. That one floats in for a strike.
Let me tell you, when you're a pitcher and able to do that, being able to have 2 balls and then put that change up where he put it, that's pitching. Matter of fact, he's got 84 total pitches.
Here comes pitch number 85. It comes to Ibanez. Breaking ball in there for strike 2.
Well, you can see Ibanez looking for the fastball and looking to try and drive the ball out. Now, once you get 2 strikes now, you got to go into that protect mode. So it's more of a base hit type mode as opposed to trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, they are playing him awfully deep in left field and in center field. Worth goes. The pitch swung on and rolled to the right side. Nice play by Kochman. And he runs it to the bag himself to finish off this 5th inning. Well, Casey Kochman is a sure-handed first baseman. I think everybody in the National League is learning that. Phillies trail at 9-3 going to the 6th.
Big bats were delivering big blasts, some expected, some from the unexpected. Most valuable was the man at the top of the rotation, but he didn't stand alone. Perfection was completed with a pitch everyone waited 28 years for. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way.
Oh, we mentioned before that the Philly Fanatic was going to get a World Championship ring, and in between innings, some of the Navy SEALs that have been around the ballpark the last few days, part of the parachute team that came into the stadium during the opening night ceremonies, they presented the Philly Fanatic with his World Championship ring. How about that, huh, Wheels?
It'd be interesting to size up those paws, huh?
Here's Kelly Johnson to start the top of the 6th inning against Jay Happ, with the Braves leading it 9-3.
Which isn't quite the way they drew it up, huh?
No, not the first 3 games.
Oh, this sport will drive you nuts.
Chopper towards second. Utley has it. And Johnson's retired for out number 1. Now, we were talking about it before, how the Braves during the course of spring training were one of the hottest clubs offensively in the Grapefruit League, and they've kind of carried that over to at least the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah. And Bobby Cox has to feel really good. I mean, his team was decimated by injuries last year. They were actually kind of hung in there into July before they finally traded Teixeira and threw in the towel at that point. But up until then, they were right there with all the problems that they had. And now they feel that they've got a lot of things straightened out. Their pitching's better. They're healthier. They like the center fielder Schaefer. Francoeur, they think he's going to be better this year. Things can always look better or worse early in the season. You don't know. That's why you talk about this being a marathon, and you just try not to overreact one way or the other. Because right now it's not real good for the locals.
No. 9 runs on 10 hits allowed in today's game. And Escobar is down on strikes for out number 2 here in the 6th inning. Well, prior to the game, Chipper Jones was originally in the starting lineup for the Braves, and then there was word that he has a sore left thumb, and Bobby Cox, with the off day tomorrow, said, you know what, let's give him another day and make sure that it's nothing major. And they say it is nothing major. Then Garrett Anderson came up with a little soreness in his calf, which was bothering him during spring training. And I'm sure there are Braves fans out there that are saying, uh-oh, here we go again.
This is one of those things that you cannot document. But how many times do guys get scratched, and the guys that come in have a big day? And both these guys are today. Infante and Diaz are both having big games for the 2 guys you just mentioned that are scratched. And it's just a thing you've seen so many times over the years, and there's no stats on it, but boy, it happens a lot.
1-2 the count to McCann.
Hey, they keep stats on everything else anymore. They might come up with this one.
We'll put it in a column in our stats.
No, that's not. No.
But I think part of it too is that sometimes guys find out so close to game time they can't really think about the whole setup. And McCann is rung up for the final out here of the 6th inning. It's a 1-2-3-6 for Jay Happ. Well, that youngster has woken up with Jay Happ's fastball as we go to the bottom of the 6th. More runs on 10 hits as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. 3 good crowds to open up the season here at Citizens Bank Park, and you would expect nothing less, as the Phillies last year set an overall attendance record, and you would assume off the World Championship that they are Going to be on pace to do the same thing, if not better, this year. As Pedro Feliz leads things off against Javier Vasquez. And Feliz, who is 0 for 1 with a walk, he bounced out to third his last time up. Is down in the count, no balls and 1 strike.
They're starting to get their bullpen cranking out there.
And Feliz hits one the opposite way, pretty deep, but Francoeur's got room. And there's one away. Hey, you think about what the starting pitching has done for the Atlanta Braves during this series as Blaine Boyer and Eric O'Flaherty are warming up for Atlanta. Derek Lowe, 8 innings in game 1, no runs. Jair Jurgens, there's Lowe, 5 2/3, no runs in game 2. And here's Vasquez with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Okay, he's allowed 3.
Yeah,
but still,
he's taking a butt kicking. Yeah, well, the Phillies had a lot of chances in the last 2 games, and they really haven't scored many runs either. And obviously today, their starting pitching, Joe Blanton had a tough day, he had a big inning. The old crooked number inning, the 5 spot in the 3rd really hurt because, you know, the Phillies had just tied the game. They had some momentum for the first time in the, in this early in the season, and then you want your starter to go out there and have a clean inning. He didn't have one.
1-1 line to left, a base hit for Carlos Ruiz. So for Ruiz, that's his 3rd hit of the season. And now he's a base runner as Javier Vasquez will have to face Greg Dobbs, and that's what the Braves starters have done during the first 3 games of the series, and the pitch count has been manageable. Derek Lowe, arguably the best appearance so far of any starting pitcher in the majors first week. I mean, Beckett struck out 10 yesterday, but I don't know. Josh Beckett would be hard pressed to match what Derek Lowe did in that opener on Sunday night. I mean, those were 8 easy innings for Derek Lowe.
They do it different ways, Tom, as you know. I mean, they're totally different pitchers. And when Lowe has his game going, it's like Maddox. It looks really easy. It's quick, doesn't throw a lot of pitches, kill worms all over the place, hitting ground balls. Now Beckett's out there.
He's firing.
He's firing. He's throwing hard, and there's strikeouts, and you know they get it done differently. But Maddox and Lowe, those kind of sinker ball pitchers, Webb, it happens real fast.
How about that about Brandon Webb being scratched from his start with the Arizona Diamondbacks with tightness in his right shoulder?
He had a tough opener the other day.
Bob Melvin, the manager of the Diamondbacks, a little concerned and said, I don't want to make it any worse than it is. So there's no reason to put him out there again in his next turn until he's 100%. 1-1 the count to Dobbs. Now 2-1.
Yeah, and Vasquez starting to sneak up on 100 pitches, 94 this early in the season with a 6-run lead. He's probably on a short leash.
56 strikes, 38 balls. That ball to strike ratio has gotten better over the last inning or so. Ruiz with a short lead. And Dobbs swings and fouls the breaking ball off his leg. It's 2-2.
He has 2 really good off-speed pitches that keep hitters off balance. That curveball Tom just mentioned there, the breaking ball, and really still has a tremendous changeup. His changeup used to be devastating because he threw about 95, and then he'd throw that changeup in the 70s. It's still a good one, but he doesn't have quite the fastball that he used to have.
There's a good curve, and Dobbs out in front. He's down on strikes for out number 2. So 2 away as the Phillies head back to the top of the order. Jimmy Rollins, and you see the strikeout to walk ratio, the active leaders, and that's a pretty good company to be in if you're Javier Vasquez. And I guess that's why so many people wonder, why is he a hair less than a 500 pitcher? Home runs, you think?
Well, here's that big slow hook that they struck him out. Yeah, home runs. I don't know.
Kind of teams he played on before he moved around from Montreal.
I think you'd have to be around him to know. Some guys have a lot of ability and just can't turn it up a notch. I don't know. Not having been around him and had him on the team that you cover, it's hard to say. But I think if you follow him, you'd probably have a better idea of why he's right around 500 with that stuff.
And last year when he was 12-16. His ERA was just under 5 with a 4.67 mark. One and one the count to Rollins, and now 1-2.
His off-speed stuff is still just tremendous. There's another changeup. Early in the season, these guys are all swinging fastball, trying to get fastballs to hit, and the off-speed stuff, and you can control it like a Vasquez can. You can really confuse hitters.
Ruiz not being held on at first. He doesn't go. 1-2 outside. 2-2.
Watch so many of the hits early in the season and in the series even are on fastballs. Pretty impressive.
Yep. Well, he was 12-16 last year, and over the last 25 seasons, only 3 American League pitchers who have lost 15 or more games for a team watch their team finish in first place. You know, I mean, a lot of that was because of the White Sox offense last year, and because they had a pretty decent rotation. Roger McDowell and Bobby Cox are hoping that the change of scenery can help Javier Vasquez. The bigger ballpark, as you talked about before. There goes Ruiz with the count 3-2, and Rollins is out in front of a changeup, and he's down on strikes to finish off this 6th inning. Phillies strand one more. That's 7 in the game. Vasquez is through 6 with a 6-run lead.
Well, it was a great start to another emotional day here, but hasn't been so hot since. Phillies got into a 2-2 tie with the Atlanta Braves as we look at our Verizon Wireless game summary. But then that crooked number, that 5 spot in the 3rd inning, really has done the Phillies in. Another 2-run homer later on. They've hit a couple more home runs here today by McCann and Schaefer. They've hit 2 in this series. Jeff Francoeur has a 2-run hit, and the 6-run lead right now as Chad Durbin takes over. He's had 1 appearance, and that was on Sunday in the opener. Pitched a 1/3 of an inning and got a strikeout with the 1 batter that he faced. So he will come on here in the 7th inning. Casey Kochman will lead it off for Atlanta. Back for play-by-play is Harry.
All right, thank you, Wheels. And Kochman is 1 for 3. 1 strike to him. All on the strike. Good one. Jay Happ in his 2009 debut pitched 2 innings, gave up 2 runs, surrendered a home run to young Jordan Schaefer. Two balls and 2 strikes. Foul out of play. Those 2 runs the Braves scored. The first they have scored off the Phillies bullpen. The bullpen has been very, very good in this series. Hit the right field deep. Worth can't get it. Off the fence, and this will be a two-base hit for Kochman. The number 11 for Atlanta. And it'll bring up Jeff Francoeur.
Kochman got fooled a little bit there, it looked like, even though it was a fastball, and he reaches for this. Let's see. Yeah, it was down and away, and he one-handed it over the head of Jason Worth and off the wall on one hop. Pitch you could see by where Ruiz was set up. It was supposed to be in. It turned out to be away. And Kochman, like most left-handed hitters, a low ball hitter.
He did a long way for basically one-arming it.
That's what they do. Those left-handers, boy, on low pitches, they jump.
Jeff Francoeur is flied out, singled, and popped up. Knocked in a pair of runs. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Still think you have to try and crowd Francoeur. Even though he has that new stance, he's hurting the Phillies with pitches out over the plate. Happ got him out last time. Look, he threw him a little cutter in on his hands and jammed him.
Beats a foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
See, that Jeff Francoeur, been talking about it during the series, how open he is compared to the way he used to hit. Front foot out here. He used to be more closed or a straight on stance, and he feels he can see better. He's going to close up as the pitch comes, and that's why you can probably still crowd him a little bit.
One is too wide, 2 balls and a strike. Low, 3-1. Popped him up. Jimmy Rollins drifts out. He's called off by Ibanez, who makes the catch. And these lucky fans are today's Citizen 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank, with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find the branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. That's out number 1. Runner holds on at second base. That's Kochman. It brings on Matt Diaz. Diaz is 1 for 2. His fly to deep center, doubled and walked. 1 strike. Drive, nice grab by Phillies. Almost got over his glove, but Pedro makes the glove hand stab for out number 2.
Pedro Feliz, an excellent defensive third baseman. Pretty easy play for him right there. The whole thing there was timing the leap, because that's kind of a humpback line drive hit there by Diaz, and Pedro makes a play.
Here's Jordan Schaefer, the 22-year-old rookie, has had an impressive series. Now 3 for 9 with 2 home runs. Homered his last time up. Put Greg Norton in the on-deck circle. We do have bullpen activity, so Vasquez might be finished for the afternoon.
Yeah, he's up to 100, right around 100 pitches, and they have a 6-run lead. There's really not much sense in leaving him in the game any longer.
2 balls and no strikes to Schaefer. Got that one over, 2-1. Missing, 3 balls and a strike.
Schaefer, as Harry said, off to a good start here in the series. A rookie, that pitch is in. It was a breaking ball, and it was kind of middle in. And even though he was pulling off it, he didn't have to go too far to get to it.
And he works the walk, putting 2 men on base with 2 outs, and that'll bring on Norton. Norton batting for Javier Vazquez. Two men on base with 2 outs. Norton 0 for 2 so far this year. Against Chad Durbin, he is 2 for 3. Takes one low, 1 ball and no strikes. Doing nothing. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Colorado has a 4-1 lead on Arizona. They're in the 6th inning. 2-run double for Spilborghs for the Rockies. Looking for their first series win over Arizona since September of 2007. We'll be seeing those Rockies on Friday. Three and nothing here to Norton. They went over 3 balls and a strike. Full count. Runners will be on the move. Kochman from second. Schaefer from first with 2 outs. Top of the order waiting on deck. 3-2 the count to Norton. They'll try it once again. She fouls it back and out of play. Fastball, and he walked him, and that'll load the bases. When we go to Colorado on Friday night, Cole Hamels will have the ball for the Phils, making his 2009 regular season debut against Jason Marquis. Saturday it'll be Brett Byers against Jorge De La Rosa, and Sunday Chan Ho Park gets his first start for the Phillies against Aaron Cook.
Condry had an inning work last night, had a couple strikeouts. We'll get him up.
Bases are loaded with 2 outs for Omar Infante. Infante 2 for 4 has struck out, single, doubled, and grounded out. 1 ball and no strikes. Durbin having control problems here. He's walked the last 2. Ball 2. Infante lifetime is hitless against Chad. He is 0 for 6. He's got to throw strikes, and he hasn't thrown one to him yet. 3 balls and no strikes.
Give him a 2-0 breaking ball there too. I guess he figures he's having trouble controlling his fastball, so he tried a slider and missed with it.
No room on base for him. They're loaded. This inside was close, but when you're not throwing strikes, you're not going to get the borderline pitches, and that's ball 4, and that'll force in a run. Kochman scores.
Yeah, this pitch is really close. You know, it could be inside, and you see Infante back away. And as you said, Harry, that you're not throwing strikes. You don't get too many closed pitches. I think he could be making a change right now. Charlie's starting up the steps, and here he comes.
So Durbin struggling with his command. Walking the last 3 in a row, forcing in a run. And the Braves now have a 10-3 lead. That'll be it for Chad Durbin. We have a pitching change for the Phils. We're in the 7th. 10-3 Atlanta, back after these messages. Plus Flyers and Sixers updates and highlights from the Phillies World Series ring ceremony. All on Sports Night tonight at 6:30 and 10, only on Comcast. Clay Condrey is the Phillies' new pitcher. He pitched a perfect inning of relief in last night's game. Going 1 inning, striking out 2, trying to get a 3rd out here as Kelly Johnson steps up with the bases loaded, 2 outs and a run across. One strike to Johnson. Johnson's 0 for 3 with a walk. That's a little bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pops foul back and out of play. 1-2 to Kelly Johnson. Johnson is the only one in the Braves starting 8 position players that does not have a hit today. Atlanta's pounded out 11 hits. And he's rung up. So Johnson's out of there. So are the Braves, but they had another run in the inning. On 1 hit and leave the bases loaded. Stretch time, we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 10-3 Atlanta. Well, he's in the Braves dugout. The answer is Chipper Jones. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. New pitcher is going to be Eric O'Flaherty. An inside pub here at Citizens Bank Park. O'Flaherty, 24-year-old. Walla Washington, they got him off waivers from Seattle during the offseason. Pitched ending of the third last night, giving up just one hit. And faces Shane Victorino, who was 1 for 3 with a triple and a run scored. But this one has been all Braves to 10-3 Atlanta. They about hit the Phils 11-5. One ball and 2 strikes.
Well, they're going to have a pretty big rally.
Need 7 to tie it. Broken back ground ball to third base. It was Infante, throws across in time to get Victorino, 1 down. And it'll bring on Chase Utley. Chase is 1 for 3, has struck out, been safe on an errant double. One strike to Utley. Missing 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball hit foul first base side. A ball and 2 strikes to Chase. Fanatic on the Phillies dugout. Trying to entertain the young fans here. This ball game kind of slipped out of the Phillies' hands early in the 3rd inning. The score tied at 2. Atlanta battled around and put a 5 spot on the board.
Yeah, Phillies had tied the game at that point, and had 2 men on, 2 outs, and weren't able to score. It looked like maybe they might catch a little momentum right there, and then boom, gave it right back.
Tom McCarthy has a report for us. T-Mac.
One of the things that's a bright spot for the Phillies during this 3-game series, just the fact that Chase Utley is swinging a bat and is playing in a major league game. Now he hooks that one just fouled on the right field line, and that's a good sign because of the hip injury which he sustained midway through last season and the subsequent surgery that he had in November of 2008. And look at this swing and look how he's able to turn on it. Last year it just didn't seem, because of the injury to his right hip, that he was able to put any pressure on that right leg. But it's a credit to him after having the surgery the 3rd week in November, and a credit to the athletic training staff for the Phillies that he's been able to get back into this starting lineup during the course of this first week. And he gets a base hit here. It's going to be his 2nd base hit now of this ball game. And Scott Sheridan, the Phillies athletic trainer, Mark Anderson, the assistant athletic trainer for the Phillies, Don Lean, all these guys did amazing work with Chase Utley. There's Scott Sheridan standing behind Pete Buchanan right now. They did amazing work with Chase during the course of this offseason. And a lot of credit obviously goes to Chase for staying in Philadelphia to make sure that the rehab was successful. I mean, look at the games he played in just last year alone, 155, and now because he's able to come back, he could equal or even surpass that number here in 2009.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. I mean, the speculation was that he would not be ready to open the season, but as you say, with working with Scott Sheridan and Mark Anderson and the hard work he puts in himself, and he's not only started the season, but now he's one of the few Phillies hitters that's getting his hits. He is now 4 for 11 for the young season.
Yeah, and he appears to be healthy, and that's the whole thing. That's Tom's whole point there, is that he's able to be healthy at the start of the season. I don't think anybody thought he'd be here on opening day. Maybe not here until May.
Yeah. Ryan Howard has doubled, fly down, and grounded out.
The runner at first base are not playing the second baseman, Kelly Johnson, in the outfield. They're in a double play situation, so you see where they are. And then the third baseman, Infante's playing shortstop.
Fouled it straight back. Still 1-2 the count to Ryan Howard.
Can's had a couple of those the day off the mask.
It's another foul. So 1-2 to Howard. Utley at first with 1 out. Wide, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hit by a pitch. Almost got him in the chin. It was high off his shoulder.
It was a fastball.
2 men on base.
Yeah, he's a fastball, and he's trying to hang in there in case it's a breaking ball with 2 strikes. And Bobby Cox is going to make a pitching change now with a right-handed hitter, Worth, coming up. He's got a lot of right-handers available in that bullpen. Here it is. You see, he threw a breaking ball before that, so now Ryan Howard just hanging in there. And luckily, that got him up near the bicep area, it looks like. Remember one opening day here a number of years ago, Lenny Dykstra broke his wrist when Greg Maddux hit him on opening day.
So this is it for O'Flaherty. We have a pitching change for the Braves. We're in the 7th, 10-3 Atlanta, back after these messages. Saturday the 18th, 7:05, Turkey Hill Kids opening night. Cole Hamels MVP baseball and collectible tin, free to all fans 14 and under. Sunday the 19th, 1:35, that'll be Citizens Bank Fanatics birthday. Fanatic Champions t-shirts for all fans 14 and under. And Monday the 20th, 7:05, will be a Hatfield Phillies Braves Dollar Dog Night. Order your tickets for the big San Diego Padres series online at Phillies.com. This is Peter Moylan. Moylan, the 30-year-old Australian.
Those new shirts they just have out that fast. They were ready for the ring ceremony, and now they have the shirts out with the ring on. We weren't allowed to see that ring until this afternoon.
Moylan only pitched in 7 games last year. He had elbow problems. Was spent most of the year on the disabled list.
One of the many Braves that had surgery of their pitching staff, and it just decimated them last year. And they feel they're more competitive now because they have these guys back. Moylan comes from down under and throws from down under.
1 ball and 1 strike. He had Tommy John surgery. Year before, he pitched in 80 games for Atlanta and pitched very well. 2007 in 80 games, he was 5-3 with a 1.80 ERA.
You see, last year he's only in 7 games. That really hurt their pen. Throws a lot of sinkers from underneath. He'll throw a changeup and kind of a frisbee slider.
He's ahead of Jason Worth, 1-2. Fouls it out of play. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Worth 0 for 2 with a walk. Utley is at second. Howard at first with 1 out. Breaking ball missing.
That's that frisbee slider we were just talking about. He just kind of spins it up there. There's his new batting helmets this year to go along with the retro uniform of last year that they wear on day games. All kinds of neat merchandise around here. So the last shot, shot prior to that, there it is. That's the new one, just out today.
Yeah. Now the 2-2 pitch is smothered foul, still 2-2.
That ring is really neat. I had a chance to see it when Frank came up here, Kopenbarger, and was in the office for a little while before he came out here to star on television. Did a great job with Gary and Tom. There's the banner out there, and there's another look at it. That's Milt Thompson's.
Beautiful ring.
Oh, man.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
They did a great job with that, the committee that put that together.
Wide, it's a full count. Worth against Moylan lifetime. He's 2 for 5, one of them a home run. Raul Ibanez waits on deck. Inside he walked in. So the Phillies have the bases loaded with 1 out for Ibanez.
Bobby Cox is out left-handers now, except for his closer Gonzalez, and you know, he's seen enough games get out of control in this ballpark over the years that he's making a lot of moves. There's Ibanez hitting that home run. That gave the Phillies a tie game. They have never led in this series, and that was when they tied the game for the first time in the series, and then they got hit with a 5 spot. Braves had some big leads in games here last year and blew them.
Ibanez can do some damage here, and he looks at a strike, 0-1.
Phillies still have Stairs available off the bench. They've used up Dobbs.
Ibanez has never faced Moylan. He loops it into left for a base hit. Utley scores. Howard will stop at third. Worth goes to second. It's now a 10-4 game as Ibanez knocks in his 3rd run of the game.
You see Raul Ibanez today pulls a ball for a home run, and there he gets a pitch away and just slaps it. Now what Moylan's trying to do here is throw that sinker down and away and have him turn it over and hit into a double play. And Ibanez, a good hitter that he is, just strokes it to the opposite field, gets a base hit and a run batted in. And that's the kind of player he is, the kind of hitter he is. He's not going to take that sinker a whole lot of times and turn it over the way that a pitcher wants him to.
Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, now to talk it over with Moylan as Pedro Phillies will be the batter. Phillies has walked, grounded out, and flied out to deep right. It's now 10-4 here in the 7th. Base is still loaded with 1 out. One ball and no strikes. Rays are getting bullpen activity. That's a base hit to center field. Howard scores. Stopping at third is worth another run in as Phillies delivers. So it is now a 10-5 game as the Phillies come battling back here. Matt Stairs is going to bat for Carlos Ruiz now.
Here it is. There's another sinker, and a good job by Pedro to hit it right back through the middle. And now Bobby Cox has to decide as they cut that off and go one base at a time which right-hander he wants to face Stairs, and he's going to stay with Peter Moylan. You mentioned they use O'Flaherty already, and the only other lefty they have, of course, is their closer, Gonzalez.
Brian Boyer is the right-hander up in the bullpen.
He's their hardest thrower in the bullpen. He's a mid-90s guy.
1 ball and no strikes to Stairs.
So I guess Bobby didn't want to use a guy like Boyer who throws real hard, and Stairs loves a hard throwing right-hander.
Missing inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Good career numbers with the bases loaded for Matt Stairs.
Yeah, that's a lot of salamis right there, 11 of them.
Right. That time is called as Then we'll get rid of the trash between the mound and the plate.
Needs a little tension breaker right there to Peter Moylan. He just took a little walk. Normally the hitter wants that out of there.
Three balls and no strikes to Matt Stairs.
I wonder if he green light him here.
Good question.
You know, if he does, then Charlie, obviously, if he green lights him, he wants him to look middle in.
3-0 the count. Walked him on 4 pitches and a force in a run.
How about getting the tie and run to home plate here in the 7th inning? That didn't look like it was going to happen. He was that little kid holding up that sign about he wanted her first win to be a first win today. Here's Bobby Cox. Now he's going to go to the hard thrower Bennett. Or Boyer, I mean.
Well, Moylan's come in. He's given up a walk, single walk. And so this will be it for Moylan. Another pitching change for the Braves. It's now a 10-6 game. Back after these messages. innings, still just 1 out. And Chris Coast is going to come up to pinch hit. He will bat for the pitcher Clay Condrey, and the new pitcher for the Braves is Blaine Boyer. Boyer last year in 76 games, 2-6 with a 5.88 ERA. 27-year-old.
Well, he'll come after you too. I mentioned he's probably their hardest thrower, and he'll throw in the area of 94, 95, 96. And a lot of fastballs.
Comes out of Atlanta, 27 years of age. Almost threw that one away.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, he's going to throw a lot of fastballs.
Third round draft pick of the 2000 draft.
It's a heck of a play by McCann. Look where he was set up for a pitch away, and that thing came way inside.
3 balls and no strikes. This Coast with the bases loaded. Philly fans now are getting into this game as the Phillies are mounting a rally. Got that one over. 3-1 the count to Coast.
It's the first time this season, really, they've been able to get into the game like this. So you know what a force they can be in this ballpark.
Walked him, and that'll force in a run. Ibanez scores. Bailey's to third. Stairs to second. And it is now a 10-7 game.
Peter Moreland can just look on. Now they're getting another right-hander up. 2 right-handers.
Bring on Jimmy Rollins. J-Roll is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
Getting Bennett up. And Buddy Carlisle, I think that was.
1 ball and no strikes to Rollins. J-Roll does have good numbers against Blaine Boyer. 2 for 4, including a RBI. But he's going to just stand there until he throws a strike. Moylan had trouble throwing strikes. Now Boyer has thrown 1 strike in his first 7 pitches.
Good time for Brian McCann to do what he just did. Yeah. Oh, that's Campillo, who's their 5th starter. Changeup expert. And Bennett's the other guy.
High, 3-0. Walked him on 4 pitches, and that will force in another run. 3 of the runs forced in here on bases loaded walks. Bailey scores. Stairs to third. Goes to second.
He just told him to stall. He just got the stall sign. You see the infielders coming in there, trying to get those 2 guys loosened up in a hurry. Bobby Cox, I don't know if he's going to come out now or give him 1 more hitter. He's coming out.
Yep. Blaine Boyer came in. He pitched to 2 batters and walked them both. And he's going to bring in yet another pitcher here. This will be the 4th pitcher in the inning.
Seen Bennett in the series before. It'd be interesting to see if he brings him in or if he brings in Campillo, who's more of a starter and is their 5th starter. We saw a lot of him last year. Just giving him more time for that bullpen. Trying to make sure they bring the right guy in. See, they're not sure. They're all kind of motioning, but they went Bennett or Campillo. He doesn't know either. Campillo.
Well, the Phillies have already batted around and have just one out and put 5 on the board, down by only 2. Another pitching change for the Braves. It's 10-8 Atlanta. Back after these messages.
And then Pedro Feliz up the middle with a line drive. And then Matt Stairs walks as a pinch hitter, forcing in a run. Chris Coast, a pinch hitter, walks, forcing in a run. Jimmy Rollins, he does the same thing. All of a sudden, the Phillies have a 5 spot on the board and trail by 2 with the bases loaded and 1 out for Campillo.
Jorge Campillo facing Shane Victorino, delivers a strike. He's a 30-year-old out of Tijuana, Mexico.
He'll throw a lot of changeups. That was a fastball, and it's 84. Saw him in a ton of games last year as a starting pitcher.
There's a line drive, base hit into right field. Everybody moves up 1, and it's now a 1-run game. Victorino singles, Stairs scores, Coast to third, Rollins to second, and it is 10-9. Still only 1 out of the inning as Chase Utley will bat once again.
Kind of a helpless feeling right now. There's a changeup. They've seen this guy a lot, and Shane stayed back nicely on that. They keep going 1 base at a time, and it sure is effective.
Utley is 2 for 4 this afternoon. One ball and no strikes. Leo started 25 games. Chase is 3 for 7 off in lifetime. He started 25 games last year and also pitched in 14 games out of the bullpen.
Well, he helped save their, when they were in contention for a while last year and all those pitchers were going down. He came out of nowhere and did a good job for them as a starter. He's gonna throw mostly changeups. That's his pitch.
1 ball and no strikes to Chase Utley. Two balls and no strikes.
This is where they have to decide whether to turn him loose or not. You know, because this guy could throw a changeup and get you to roll one over into a double play if you don't get a pitch to hit. Here's Boyer. He couldn't get anybody out.
Three balls and no strikes. Wow. Besides the hits, there has been a hit batsman and 4 walks in the inning by Atlanta pitching.
No extra base hit in this inning. And a bat around. +1. +2.
3-0 to Chase Utley. Knocked that over on the inside corner. It's 3 balls and a strike.
Well, that may have been low. That's surprising. With all the balls these guys are throwing, he calls this a strike. That pitch is low.
Yeah, it is low.
I mean, not where he caught it. It was low, period.
Yeah. 3-1 the count to Utley. That is low, and that's ball 4. And that's another walk, and that will force in the tying run. Coast scores. It is now a 10-10 game.
I don't know about you, when Victorino grounded out in this inning to start it, I really expected this game to be tied.
Really? Yeah, the only out they got was the very first batter of the inning. Now the Phillies have batted around +3.
Now McCann did a good job of freezing that one, and from the bench they could see that's not high and that's not low, but he called it outside.
Here is Ryan Howard. Chance to put the Phillies in front here. High for a ball. Howard against Campillo is 4 for 8 lifetime, including a home run. A ball and 1 strike.
A lot of these hitters credit too in this inning because they've been very, very patient.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an exciting way to score all these bases loaded walks, but it's sure been effective.
Move Tapper. They're only going to get 1 out on this play, and the go-ahead run is going to score in the person of Jimmy Rollins. Bills take an 11-10 lead on the tap out off the bat of Ryan Howard.
First time the Phillies have had a lead this season after trailing 9-3 going into this inning. Who'd have thunk it?
Really?
You remember last year when they got off to that tough start against Washington, they won on a walk-off walk to Jason Worth in the 3rd game of the season in the 10th inning. So bases loaded walks are huge today.
Here is Jason Worth. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of walks he has walked in this inning. 1 strike to him.
Now they're going to get, it looks like Phillies will get Madsen up.
Yeah, they have the lead now at 11-10, so use Madsen to set up and hopefully Lidge to close it.
Get some more.
That's going to be caught by the right fielder Francoeur, and that will end the inning. But the Phillies bat around +4, scoring 8 runs in the inning, doing so on just 3 hits, 4 hits, and lead 2. We go to the 8th, 11-10 Phils. excellent last year in the bullpen. As a setup man, went 4-2 with a save and a 3.05 ERA. And he'll try to probably set up Brad Lidge here. Yunel Escobar will be the first one to face him. Escobar is 2 for 4 this afternoon. Phillies leading 11-10. It's a strike. I think it 1 to Escobar. Nice grab by Howard. Ryan a low throw, but a good scoop by Madsen. Great play all around by Howard and by Madsen. 3-1, 1 down here in the 8th.
Bench coach Pete McCann smiling too. Get out the calliope, doodle. I mean, that was a circus play.
Really
amazing.
Howard made a great stop and looked for sure like it would get by him.
Great play there, and he makes it. Now he flips it in a hurry. And Ryan Madsen, that's short hopping too. He had to take it off the ground.
Right.
That's our Rico defensive play of the game. No kidding. Move your ideas forward with Rico dependability. And Ryan Madsen's very fortunate he didn't turn an ankle then.
Really?
The way he had to hit that bag awkwardly to catch the baseball.
Here's Brian McCann. McCann is 2 for 3, including his second home run of the year. McCann lifetime against Madsen is 2 for 6, both of them doubles. 1 strike. Broken bat. Utley backhands. Throws him out. That's 2 down here in the 8th inning. And we'll bring on Casey Kochman.
Threw a 96 fastball and then got a changeup. Tailing down and away there to Brian McCann, and you saw his bat shatter as he hit it right on the end of the bat.
Kochman this afternoon, 2 for 4. One strike.
Good changeup. Ryan basically is throwing 3 pitches now: fastball, cutter, and changeup. He doesn't throw the curveball a whole lot anymore.
His change has been a very effective pitch for him. He's using that considerably. He threw another one there.
Yeah, he backed up changeups there. Now, be interested to see how they approach Kochman. They go right after him or throw a third changeup. He wants to bury it down and away.
It was a changeup, and it's right back to Madsen. Madsen has a 1-2-3 inning, no runs, hits, errors, and none left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Phil's 11, Braves 10. series. Lots of big promotions for that 4-game series. Saturday, April 18th will be Turkey Hill Kids opening night. Free Cole Hamels MVP ball and collectible tin for youngsters 14 and under on April 18th. Order your tickets online at Phillies.com, or you can call 215-463-5000. Raul Ibanez leads it off for the Phillies here in the 8th inning. Campillo still out there. 1 ball and no strikes. Two balls and no strikes.
Ibanez, good game today. 3 RBIs. There's Brad Lidge, who right now would be coming into the game in a save situation.
Three balls and no strikes.
This time last year, of course, Lidge wasn't even activated by the Phillies. It took a little while for him. Madsen really came into his own late in the season as a setup guy and did a great job today in that 8th inning.
1, 2, 3 for Madsen. Got that one over. 3-1 to Ibanez. Eddie walking. And another walk surrendered by Braves pitching.
Braves pitching just looked tremendous until that 7th inning. The crowd had a little bit to do with it, too. They really started to get into it, and I think they rattled a few of their guys.
That is 10 walks issued by the Braves pitching today. And here is Pedro Feliz.
See Bobby Cox and Roger McDowell talking it over and where they want to go next if they have to make another move.
Eric Bruntlets moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Ryan Madsen.
It looked like Pedro was sacrificing them. We saw that. There's Eric. We saw that in him last year, that he is a very good bunter and got down a couple of big sacrifices when they needed them. And it all appeared that he turned and squared to sacrifice. There's Bennett up to try and get that runner in a scoring position, get another run. See if he does it again.
Yeah, he is bunting. Yep. Takes it just a tad low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Now Charlie may take it off. You see him go through the signs to Sam Perlaza. You know, that looks like he's telling him go ahead and hit. Now that's either pretty obvious or it's a deke.
2 balls and no strikes. Showing bunt again, but missing again is Campillo.
Well, that really has to be frustrating for the Braves, because Feliz is up there giving himself up. He's giving him an out.
He has a green light and a fair ball going down to the corner. Ibanez will be held at third. Feliz at second with a double. And the Phillies were second and third and no outs here at the 8th.
I'm not Charlie giving him a 3-0 green light on that spot.
Charlie Manuel's pretty free with green lights 3-0. That's a lot of nice swing.
Well, that was a feel right there. You know, Campillo doesn't throw that hard. He thought, well, he may throw him a fastball, and he did. And Pedro hooked it into the corner.
Comes Bobby Cox again. This is going to be up for Campillo. He has already made the way to the bullpen for Bennett.
There's that sign we showed you. And I remember saying at that time, well, they're going to have a heck of a rally for that to happen.
And it certainly has, as the Phillies at an 11-10 lead.
Well, that was truly a figure of speech at the time. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Jeff Bennett coming on out of the bullpen. We have a pitch. Pitch, and the Braves beat the infield in with the runners at second and third and nobody out. Eric Bruntlett, the batter. Bennett pitched to one batter in this series. Last night he faced Carlos Ruiz and gave up a hit. And now Bruntlett is batting where Ruiz was hitting. Carlos taken out for a pinch hitter in an 8-run seventh inning. 1 ball and no strikes to Bruntlett.
Last man off the bench for the Phillies. They're out extra men now.
Two balls and no strikes. Ibanez at third, he walked. Phillies at second, he doubled.
This inning's taking a long time, so Lidge sat down. Or is walking around out there somewhere. Ooh.
And a cut, fouled it straight back, 2-1.
Good pitch to drive right there. Talking about their bullpen, how good it was in the first couple games of the series, except for, Gonzalez a little shaky in one inning, but boy, they really struggled today.
6 walks and a hit batsman. Fly ball into center field. That should be deep enough to score. Ibanez, he waltzes home. And the Phillies have a 2-run lead on the sacrifice fly by Bruntlett. So it is now 12-10 Phils.
Good job by Eric Bruntlett. Get that run in.
Brings on Chris Ghost. He came in to pinch hit and walked in the 7th inning.
One of the big keys, of course, for the Phillies in this rally is they're going up there not striking out. Because that's the thing that just kills rallies. And when you go up there and punch out, here's Lidge. Of course, they were walking hitters, but I think, as I mentioned, the Phillies were very patient while all that was going on and didn't chase.
Coast a base hit to right field. Frank Coeur has a good arm, so they will hold. Perlazo will hold Phillies at third base, but Chris Coast singles. And the Phillies have runners at first and third with 1 out for Jimmy Rollins.
It's amazing how they just could not score. Chris Coast fan in the first 2 games in this series, struggled for most of this game, and then all of a sudden, with some help from the Braves pitching staff with the walks, now they all look so confident out there.
1 run in the first 2 games. The Phils have 12 across here in the 3rd.
Yeah, and they had 3 until the 7th inning.
Jay rolled 2 for 5 lifetime against Bennett, including a home run. Ooh, strike. Two quick strikes.
Jimmy, a lot of trouble with Vasquez's changeup today, and Bennett's going to be more of a guy throw him some fastballs, and he has.
Now balls and 2 strikes. One and 2. Off the pitch, still a ball and 2 strikes. Phillies at third. Coast at first with 1 out. A run in, Phil's on top, 12-10. There's off another one. Off another one. Well, Graber's just giving us this information. The last time the Phillies had an 8-run inning was on June 13th last year at St. Louis.
Yeah.
A 9-run 4th inning.
Yeah, that's when they scored probably 20 runs in that game.
Yeah, 20, that's a game in which the Phils won 20-2.
Yeah, they had some big games in June last year.
Ooh, that was close. 2 balls and 2 strikes. J-Roll goes down swinging. So it's been a struggle for Jimmy Rollins. That's out number 2 here in the 8th.
Well, here's that flashback. Kyle Kendrick had a double in that inning, in that 9-run inning. There's Victorino with a hit. Utley with a hit. Ryan Howard, who just kills the ball in that home ballpark, or his hometown in that ballpark. Jeff Jenkins.
Victorino bounces it up the middle, and this should be the inning. They get the force at second base. And that will be it, but the Phillies get an insurance run. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. We go to the 9th. Brad Lidge tied, 12-10 Phils. Brad Lidge, the 32-year-old right-hander, comes on. You see him at the parade. 41 for 41 in save opportunities during the regular season. 7 for 7 in save opportunities in the postseason. And he comes in with a 2-run lead and will try to notch his first save of the year. He did pitch in the other game on Sunday. No decision. 1 inning. Had a strikeout. No hits and no runs. And Jeff Francoeur will be the first one to face him. Francoeur, lifetime against Lidge, 0 for 3. One strike.
Starting with that slider that he throws for a strike.
Two strikes.
That was a slider he buries hitters with.
Yeah.
That was the one that really goes down.
His slide ball is a strikeout pitch. He has a great slider. 92 strikeouts and 69 in the 3rd innings last year in the regular season. Bounces this one up there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Remember last year, Carlos Ruiz came in a lot. Even if Coase caught the game, he'd come in the 9th inning because of that slider and blocking it. And Chris did a good job that time of making sure he blocked it. Francoeur didn't swing, but you know, you want to stay away from those strikeout wild pitches.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Struck him out. There's that nasty slider.
All sliders, no fastballs. 5 of them.
Francoeur goes down swinging. It'll bring on Matt Diaz.
This is a good one. Probably a ball, but it was. But yeah. Francoeur chases.
Diaz has Lidge in his book. He is 1 for 2 lifetime against Lidge with a home run.
It was a fastball there, and Diaz thought it was outside. Still talking to home plate umpire Timmons.
Maybe the talking paid off because that was borderline by the ball.
It was outside.
1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count to Diaz. Long drive into left center field, and this ball is out of here. Can you believe Diaz has 2 career home runs off Lidge in 3 at-bats? It is now a 12-11 game.
That was a slider. That didn't look like it was a real bad one either. Boy, that extra run looks a little sweet.
Yes.
Here it is. It's a breaking ball. It was out over the plate a little, but no, it wasn't a hanger. Give Diaz credit there. There it is again. Well, he did a nice job of that. He knew that was gone when he hit it.
There's Jordan Schaefer. He is 1 for 3 with a home run. 1 strike to Schaefer.
Lidge struck him out. Garrett Anderson is on deck to pinch hit for the pitcher, Bennett. There he is, not able to start the day with a calf problem.
1 ball and 1 strike. Ground ball up the middle. There's Chase Utley. And that's 2 down here in the 9th inning. And Anderson will come up. Anderson 2 for 8 on the season.
Chipper Jones not able to start the day with a sore thumb.
One ball and 1 strike to Garrett Anderson.
Like old times, got butterflies watching the Phillies game.
12-11 Phils. Lidge trying to get a final out. Beats a foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lidge looking for his first save of the year.
That little guy right there imitating Lidge's slider going down, and that's what he wants to do here to Anderson. Is very well.
Bounces that one up there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Chris Coase did a nice job there anticipating that breaking ball in the dirt and making sure that he gets in position to block it in case Anderson swung.
struck him out. Game over. Phillies win by a score of 12-11. What a comeback by the Phils, down 10-3 in this game and win it 12-11.
And watch Coase block that slider too. That was a great job by him to make sure that he would block that slider in the dirt.